There are times in life when we feel out of place, burdened by thoughts too heavy for this world. Some of you have felt a sadness you cannot explain, a weight upon your soul that no doctor can cure. Some of you have been labeled as lost, troubled, or even depressed. But what if I told you that what you are experiencing is not a sign of despair but a mark of divine calling? What if, instead of being depressed, you are a prophet? Today, we shall uncover the signs that distinguish the broken-hearted wanderer from the God-appointed messenger. We shall open our hearts to what it truly means to walk with God in a world that often walks against Him. There are those who walk through life satisfied with things as they are. They do not question, they do not wrestle with truth, they simply exist. But you, my friend, feel something different. You look at the world and sense that something is deeply wrong. The corruption, the injustice, the emptiness, these things do not sit well with you. This is not ordinary sadness. This is holy discontent. Jeremiah, the weeping prophet, felt it deeply. The prophets of old could not rest in comfort while the world fell into ruin. They did not fit in because their souls were tuned to a higher frequency. If you find yourself troubled by the state of things, not just in frustration but in sorrow that turns to action, then you are seeing with the eyes of a prophet. Prophets are not simply wise men. They are not merely intelligent or well-read. They are bearers of truth, truth that burns within them like fire. Have you ever tried to stay silent when you see wrong being done, yet you find that you cannot? Have you tried to ignore the deeper realities of life, yet they chase you even in the quiet moments? This is the sign of a prophet. C.S. Lewis once said, "I didn't go to religion to make me happy. I always knew a bottle of port would do that." If you want a religion to make you feel really comfortable, I certainly don't recommend Christianity. The truth of God is not always comfortable. It disrupts. It unsettles. And those who carry it feel its weight. If you cannot walk away from truth, if it haunts you and presses upon you, then perhaps you have been given a prophetic voice. Look at the prophets of old, Moses, Elijah, Isaiah, Jeremiah. None of them lived easy lives. They were ridiculed, hated, cast out. They walked alone because they walked with God. Jesus himself said, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home." Mark 6 verse 4. If you have felt the sting of rejection, not because of wrongdoing but because you carry something different in your spirit, do not despair. You are in good company. The world is quick to embrace those who flatter it, but it resists those who call it to repentance. The loneliness you feel is not the loneliness of abandonment, it is the loneliness of divine purpose. One of the clearest marks of a prophet is an insatiable hunger for God. Not just a casual belief or a once-a-week church attendance, but a consuming fire within you that seeks Him at all times. You long for Him in prayer, in study, in worship. You feel as though you cannot live without His presence. David cried out, "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God." Psalm 42 verse 1. If your soul aches for something more, if the things of this world no longer satisfy you, then understand, this is not depression. This is divine longing. God has set eternity in your heart, and nothing but Him will fill that space. Sign 5, a heart that breaks for others. Prophets do not only see, they feel. They carry the burdens of others, weeping for the lost, crying out for justice, interceding for the broken. Their hearts are tender, yet they stand firm in truth. They love deeply because they see with God's eyes. Jesus himself wept over Jerusalem. He felt the pain of those who rejected Him. If you find yourself deeply moved by the suffering of others, if you cannot turn away from the pain of the world, then you bear the heart of a prophet. If you see these signs in your life, what should you do? Seek God first. Do not run from your calling. Embrace the presence of God in prayer, worship, and study. Speak the truth in love. Do not let fear silence you. The world needs the voice of those who are unafraid to proclaim righteousness. Endure with patience. You will face trials, but remember that every prophet before you has walked this path. You are not alone. Find your purpose. Your calling is not a mistake. Ask God how He wants you to use your voice, your gifts, your life. Dear brothers and sisters, do not mistake your sorrow for despair. Do not believe the lie that you are merely troubled or lost. If you see these signs in your life, you are not cursed, you are called. God has set you apart. He has given you eyes to see and a heart to feel. He has placed a fire within you that the world cannot quench. Walk boldly in your calling. Speak the words He gives you. Love with His love. And know that though the path may be difficult, it leads to glory. You are not just struggling. You are not just different. You are not just hurting. You are a prophet of the Most High God.